how that happen?
Take that off.
How does that happen like that?
Leave it
You want to be broken like that?
because you got the other one over there. So you got two of your pages.
Hey, Kim.
Both of your pages up at the same time.
That's my ace. I see Godfrey. All right, I see Terrell Harris. Terrell, I reached out to do an interview for you and your wife for Creed magazine. I hit you up in the inbox. Hey, Cangela. There's my Uncle Tap. Raquel, that's my sister, my link sister.
Hey, what up, Far Rock?
All right, we about to start, y'all.
Long
Thanks
Island.
for joining us.
Central Islip, New York. Hey, you hear that music? I'm curious. About you, love it.
You curious about what?
Hey, no, hey, I like
Get
the
into
song.
the. Okay. Look at this.
Good evening. Welcome to the
Daz
and Slinga show.
or Table at
Live at the table with
Daz
Daz
and
and
Slinga.
Slinga. We're gonna talk about some good things tonight, y'all. So please tune in and give us your opinion. We're gonna talk about some serious stuff that we need opinions on because we don't know everything, and your feedback counts.
Hi, Annie.
Y'all hear that Midnight Star in the background, right? Hey. I like that song.
Okay, babe, kill the music. Come
Okay.
on now. We already late.
All right, you right. All right, music off.
Okay.
Let's get right into it.
I want to talk about the Gucci thing first, no?
Go ahead.
All right. So, not only Gucci, but Prada and who else is there?
Blackface,
H&M,
Montclair,
Burberry,
and there was one more, Gucci.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, I saw me throw away my Gucci shoes, and they was kind of old, but I threw them away anyway because I liked them. I threw them away because
Michael Aiken joined us. Whoa.
Oh yeah, that's real
That's deep.
serious. What up, Mike? So no, I threw away my little Gucci shoes because we hate what they trying to do to us. Dash, talk to them, and I'll feed off of your energy because you brought it up. So
well, for me, I just feel like I like fashion. I am not what is it? I am not someone who is a slave to labels. Like I like it. If it's $10 and I like it, I'm buying it. If it's more than that and I like it, I'm buying it. It doesn't matter what the label is. In fact, I don't like to have insignia on my clothing. So, but I know, that doesn't take away from those of you who do. That's your preference. But it just is, it's annoying and it's disrespectful that so many of these designers do not respect us. And we allow them to continuously disrespect us and we continuously support them. So one of the things that I heard, and I think that this is an interesting spin. Some years ago they were saying how I think it was Tommy Hilfiger, which I don't know this to be true. I've never heard him say yes to it or no to it, that he didn't want us buying his clothes and wearing his clothes. So I don't know if that's true or not. But one of the things that I heard is that what has happened is that these high-end design houses, they have a certain clientele who are not people of color. So instead of them coming out back in the day where they said colored and white, what they will do now is they will do racist acts in the manner in which they've done. So that now what happens is we will take a back seat and not support them so that now we will not interfere with their clientele.
Not to cut you off, let me interject real quick. What I call it is like it's reverse. It's a reverse marketing strategy, right? So we all know that any kind of publicity, negative or positive, is good publicity, right? So what the designers are doing is they're throwing something out there that to get us in the uproar and get us all get, for lack of a better phrase, get our panties in a bunch, so it could get national exposure, and then they'll give us an apology, and we'll continue to buy their brand. So what's happening is like their brands are failing. You know what I mean? And that's just reverse. It's a reverse marketing strategy. So if they insult us and then apologize, but they're actually talking to each other in code. Like, let's disrespect black people and make them mad and make the whole world see that we disrespected them. Then we apologize, and it just brings light and promotion and vision to the brand. You know what I mean? So it's like when they do it, we got to be like, you know what? So what? We don't care. Ha ha ha. Whatever. And don't pay it no mind, because if we give it attention and feed into it, then we are doing exactly what they want to do. That's reverse psychology. So their brands are suffering. They ain't getting money, and they want people to pay attention to them again. So guess what they use? Black people.
But let me ask you this. Why are we, and I'm going to be a little crass here for a moment. Why are we as black people so stupid that we fall for the banana in the tailpipe every single time? So that now what happens is we eventually will forgive Gucci, Prada, Burberry, and all of these other brands, right? But then when someone black does something, we do not forgive them. Right. So I don't know what else to call it but stupid.
He who controls the media controls common perception. Again, he who controls the media controls common perception, because people do not research stuff on their own. So what you see on social media, what you hear on the news, and what you hear on the radio is what you believe, because you didn't do the research. So he who controls those outlets controls what most people think. So if you a thinker, if you a free thinker, and almost like Freemasonry, you have to get out there and find out that information to make sure it's true before you believe it. So but think that everything that you see or hear on television lie until you do your own research.
So then that would mean that includes black media too, because most black media just goes with what mainstream media says, but they have a black face reporting it.
Right. Indeed. So those are the people that just want to go along to get along. So it's a lot of black people that get in position and they go along so they could just have the things that they need. And no disrespect to Obama, but I think that's what he did. He just went along to so his family could be all right after he's done. But if you pay attention to all the presidents, they all came in with an initiative and they got it done. Reagan came in with drugs, he got it done. Bush and them came in with oil, they got it done. Obama came in there with, I don't know, it didn't get done. Trump is in there for the wall, it's gonna get done, right? So
well, let me just say this, because I hear you, but I'm one of those people that have a passion for Barack Obama, Michelle, and all of them. But so my position with that is, again, I'm going to be a little hard on black folks, because I think that we need to make some serious changes, right? So for me, what I see, and I hear that, because, a lot of folks have said, oh, Obama didn't do enough. He wasn't the black president. He wasn't representing. But one thing that I know about black folks is that we can be pot stirrers. We'll get in there and we'll start putting stuff in the pot, stirring the pot. And as soon as it starts mixing up, coming into something, we turn off the flame and we leave the pot alone. And we don't follow up on an agenda. So from that perspective, I can see where Obama was smart to say, you know what, I'm going to get in here, make a name for myself, leave a legacy for my children, and leave with my life, leave with my wife's life, and leave with my children's life, and let you all figure it out. Because even when he got up there and said, do not vote for Trump, what did we do?
We didn't vote for Trump. That was something different. I don't agree with that. That's how you feel. I feel like this. All of our prominent leaders were vilified by the media and by America. So Obama wasn't vilified because he
played along.
He tried to fit the status quo. That's not what black men do. Malcolm died, Martin died, like Marcus Garvey died, like people died for that. So But
what I want to say is that Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X, they all came up in a time when black men were black men, and when black power was black power.
What do you mean? What do you mean black men is black men? I'm not black man?
Well, listen.
I'm not black man?
No, you are.
Okay, I'm black man.
cut it out. What I'm saying is that, you know, Black Power was Black Power. Yeah. You had Black Panthers. You had groups out there who knew that it was okay to die for the cause because there was conviction. There's something different between believing in something and being convicted. Because when you believe in something, the moment something changes that belief, then you're jumping on something else. But when you're convicted, you will die for what you believe.
That's a fact.
Black folks are not convicted about anything except the wrong thing. They're convicted about not taking care of their children. They're convicted about taking and supporting Gucci and Poochie and Lucci and all those other little stupid designers.
Those are name brands too. Poochie,
yeah, well, whatever.
Right,
but listen. I'm just saying, we're convicted about things like that. We're convicted with looking good. We're convicted with looking good, although we're not good. We're convicted with things that don't matter nowadays. But back in Malcolm's day, people were convicted to help uplift us.
That's the fact. Let's not forget.
What are your thoughts? Some of you chime in and tell us what you think. You agree? You disagree? You feel something totally different? Let us know.
This is Black History Month, so shout out to
Black History Month is for me every month.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a when people be like, oh, you know, Black History Month is every day. It ain't got nothing. You can't just put it in a month. No, but Black History Month, like what America does, the whole world follows. So if it's Black History Month in America, that means it's Black History Month all over the world. You know what I mean? So we should not downplay that and make it like Black people are ill to me. Like it's like when we talk about reparations for the things that happen to us, Black people, a lot of Black people will say, no, we don't need reparations. We don't need no, pay us.
You know what? Listen, let me say this. I don't think Black people need reparations right now.
There you go.
Nope, I don't. Because you know what? Right now, we do not need reparations, and here's why. Because we're going to take them and buy $250 Michael Jordan sneakers. If you're going to take reparations and buy land and invest it, give it to us. But if you're going to go and buy some stupid sneakers and buy some things, some Gucci, Lucci, and Poochie, then I say no. We got to learn sense of self first and then reparations. That's my thought.
Hey, I ain't here to argue with you. Your point is what it is, and
but you disagree clearly.
No.
Dino said, "Real talk, sister." What are you talking about? Real talk regarding what, Dino?
He said that a long time ago, and that's Big Dog. What's up, Big Dog? Let's get into the topics though. So that was just the preliminary stuff that we was talking about, just to get us warmed up. But we got a couple of topics that we want to discuss. And this one is legal marijuana, right? So we know that they are going to legalize marijuana in New York, and I'm like, that's and it's legal in some states, so it's big business, right? So we know I'm like this, like I smoked weed before, but I didn't inhale on my Bill Clinton, right? So anyway, with that being said,
Bill was shiesty.
It's
I'm just saying.
It's a market. The weed market is crazy, and now the powers that be want to come in and put regulations and do different types of things to legalize weed where they could it's legal, and then the street guys who are selling weed is going to be illegal. So what do y'all feel about legalized marijuana? Should we get licensing to sell weed too? Because they're going to put it in the corner stores, and the Arab brothers is going to be selling weed out the corner stores. So
and it's going to be taxed. So now it's another part of your business that's going to be taxed.
It's a market for weed. So all the weed smokers and people that don't smoke weed, what do y'all think about? It's a new market that's going to come. So should we be involved in it or nay?
I'm not for legalizing marijuana. But I think we have.
Dino said he buying some shares. Dino, I see you, Big Dog. You gonna buy some shares?
I think we should. We have enough stuff that people are acting crazy on. Alcohol alone, people, prescription drugs, people, bare aspirin, people are tripping on. So we got to add something else. And again, Black people going to be the only ones getting high off the stuff and not investing in it.
That's not the truth. I don't believe that. Like everybody smokes weed. So
everybody does not smoke weed.
Except for you.
Then that's not everybody.
Okay. Well, if it's going to be a business, it's open for investment. So again, in New York City, weed is going to be legal. So think about the investment properties in it, and don't let them come monopolize it. And then when you buy it off somebody in the street, you're going to jail for it. You could be selling it out of a store, right? So that's what I'm talking about.
That's going to be our downfall. Is our president currently smoking weed?
We don't know what
I don't know. He's on something.
Anyway, next topic, right? This is a something that's real serious, and something that a lot of us are not even talking about, and we're not even examining. But it's real. If you know what I'm doing, I'm about this Afar Was Love thing, and this is something that's connected to that, and it's connected to us as a people. Period. A lot of black girls are going missing, right? In the cities, in this city and all throughout the country, a lot of black women, young black women, are being kidnapped, and some are turning up fatally wounded, and it's like it's something going on with the abduction of black girls. You know what I mean? And we got to pay attention to that. They snatching our girls off the street. Fathers, men, brothers. What are we doing? What are we gonna do? They snatching our girls off the streets, and it's all over social media, and mothers and families are crying about missing daughters, and things are happening to our daughters. Let's pay attention to that. What's up? So we could talk about a whole bunch of stuff and fake these moves and just act, certain kind of way and just put on. But what's up?
Oh, Stu said he agrees. No need to legalize this stuff. And no, everyone does not smoke weed. Never have. All right, Stu, thanks.
All right, well, ain't nobody mad at Stu. Let's talk about that though. Like, please give me some insight on what we need to do to start protecting our daughters, yo. Yo, Romy Ron, what's good, son?
I know my soror, Kim.
200 in the bank, boy.
She is very well versed on this. Kim, if you're still on, please chime in. I'm texting you on Instagram now, because I know our sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is, and you better know it, is has a lot to say within our social action with regard to this. And I know that my sorors, my line sisters, Kim and Kioka.
We don't want to talk about.
No, I'm saying
they are the real stuff. Black people don't want to talk about the real stuff. Like our daughters, girls are getting snatched up in on the streets. And what's up? You know what I mean?
But you know what? I want to say this. And the things is that parents, you have to be very proactive in your children's lives. Do you know they have?
Yeah, it is trafficking. That trafficking thing is real.
And the trafficking is now incorporated in certain, and I'm not going to name them because I don't have any information to back up what I'm saying right now in front of me. So I'll save that part for a later time. But one of the things that is happening is these well-known organizations that we trust our daughters to, people, and I'm not saying the organizations, but people within those organizations are bad seeds, and they are trafficking daughters, girls.
Black girls are being kidnapped.
Yes, one of the things I also heard was, this whole grooming process, which I believe in grooming, right? I believe that you got to groom like I groomed my son to know what certain things look like, so that when someone else would try to groom him, he would know automatically what to shun, right? So I think more parents need to groom their children as to what to look for, so that they know when it comes how to behave. And also, you have to watch who your children's friends are and their parents, because some of the things that are happening is, let's say I have a good friend and I entrust my daughter to go to my good friend's home to play with her daughter, unbeknownst to me that this woman is a trafficker. And then she comes back and says, oh, your daughter ran away, or oh, something happened to your daughter. And she pretends that something happened to my daughter when she really trafficked her to go off and do something crazy. And my daughter would go because she trusted her, because I trusted her. So yeah, sleepovers, you got to nix those. You got to really know people, whether they're family or friends, before you just entrust your daughters to go anywhere and hang out with anybody and be in their company.
Fathers, Be mindful of where your daughters go, where they who they going with. Mothers, just we have to pay attention to that, because that's the thing. Like, the black woman is God. She could do something that no other woman on earth could do, and that's create a child with a complexion that can endure the sun, right? So they're like, black women are the cream of the earth. You know what I mean? And the devils want them. So we gotta protect them, fathers. That's a story for another day. But we need to be mindful of what's going on with our daughters, fathers, and mothers. Let's pay attention to our black daughters, because they are the cream of the universe, and everybody wants them. You know what I mean?
Nobody is talking about that. That's the sad part.
So I don't even want to be I don't want to talk about it, because it's something that's scary to just think about. You know what I'm saying? It's scary, but it needs to be awareness, so we can have a universal understanding to protect our girls and our boys.
But wait, your friend Jerome said a lot of parents today ain't like the parents from back in the day. Oh, wait. They just, hold on, bear with me. They just let kids go and come like, wow. Yeah, you're right, Jerome. You're right. Let's take, for instance, R. Kelly, right? Like,
yeah, how did R. Kelly have access to so many young girls?
Right. Like where were their parents? And let me say this. If you take a job, right, that you don't like, and you endure that job, then I can give you a pass, because you say, you know what, I got to put food on my table, and I got to keep food on my table, and clothes on my kids, and a roof over my head, right? But you don't have to have children.
Hafiz, what up? Tell the family I said what up. I'm trying to bring you on camera, son.
So you don't have to have children. Hey, Sharnice. So when you choose to do the most important job in the world and become a parent, you need to do it seriously. And if you don't, then you need to be brought up on charges for that. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. So yeah, if that means doing drive-bys with your kids, if that means not being favorable with your kids or by your kids, because now you are that parent that always shows up, then so be it. You're not put here to be your kid's friend.
Well, we gonna close with this, right? Because this is definitely a tough topic, and we're gonna keep revisiting it sporadically as we do this. I want to close with this. Fathers and mothers, just pay attention more. And men, we have to be a lot more conscious of what's going on with our females, and how to be your girl, or you don't gotta be actually intimate with her, or have any connection with her beside the fact that she's a black woman. You know what I mean? When you see her, just make sure she's good. And we need to have a universal eye contact with each other, to just be like, all right, my sister, you good, because I'm there. I always secure my sisters, even anywhere I'm at, on the train, I'm outside, I'm in the cab, I'm wherever I'm at. When I see a black woman, I make that eye contact with her, be like, you safe, sis, because I'm here. You feel me? And let's do that, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Let's give our sisters that security when they see us, like, you safe, sis. You know what I mean? Because I got you. Whoever that is.
Jerome said the parents need to ask where you going and with who. And not only that, follow up.
That's a fact. Stu,
I do not trust anyone when it comes to my children. I watch everyone, including my family. That's right. You can't afford to make a mistake. D, look at what happens to kids who have been left with mama's new man. She's working, he's home, doing who knows what to your kids. That's right.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's right.
The next topic we want to segue into is how can the gangs help, though? Right?
How can they help?
Yeah.
Help with what?
How can gangs help out in our communities, right? So y'all, if you following, y'all know who I am. Y'all know that I'm in the jails, the juvenile jails, and I'm in Rikers Island, right? So it's something that the gangs could do. So I'm gonna I want to hear from the people. Y'all tell me what y'all think the gangs could do to help what's going on in our communities. And I'm gonna start with you, Daz, because I know that you have a perspective on that thing that's different from mine. So I want to hear everybody's perspective on how can the gangs help in our communities, and then with after y'all say what y'all say, I'm gonna tell y'all what I got from what my findings are with dealing with the gangs. So what do you think, Daz?
aside from dismembering and then exerting that energy toward community service.
Say what you need to say.
You know, I also understand that, many times people join gangs because they have they need a sense of belonging, right? Especially, I mean, not especially young people, everybody, because we weren't made to just exist alone. We were made to coexist. And unfortunately, there are many parents who are not doing their jobs, who are abandoning their children. And more than abandoning them physically, but psychologically, and in all ways abandoning their children. Like, how many children we work with, young people we work with in juvenile detention, and some of the things that these parents put their children through. I haven't been through half of that as an adult.
Right.
So that now they're seeking mothers and fathers in all the wrong places, and they're taking guidance from people who need guidance themselves. And then they start getting into all kinds of crime. So that's a whole nother show for another day. But what really, there needs to be a healing. There needs to be a healing is what needs to happen. A spiritual healing needs to happen. A social healing needs to happen. And we have to get back to how we were in terms of honoring lives, honoring ourselves and honoring lives, because we do not do that. We are so busy chasing the so-called American dream, which is really a nightmare, that we have forgot about the fundamental things that need to exist. So I think that there's a surgery, if you will, that needs to happen, and an incision needs to be made, and all of that stuff that's no good needs to be rooted and cut out.
Jerome said gangs can make the hood well off if they want truth. But they don't. If they want truth, but they don't. Let me interject real quick. The reason that I proposed that thought is because, again, I'm inside with them, with the young brothers, and I was one of them, in my youth. I was a part of certain things, right? The young people are the future, and what they do, like they control what's going on now. But what we need to do is combine what we know with what they are doing to make a better understanding. So the reason that I say that young people, that the gangs can change what's going on in our communities is because if they are given the resources that they can do positive things within those sets of people, then it will turn into positivity. So let's give, I was telling the young brothers today that Blood and Crip is an extension of the Black Panthers, right? So
wait, let me just interrupt for a moment. Sharnice Kellogg said, I've spoken with gang members and they say they love guidance. The love and guidance isn't in the home. They join because they feel like they are part of a family. Yes.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And it's okay. So the thing is that it's distorted. It has been grossly distorted. Blood and Crip, brotherly love overriding oppression diplomatically. Crip, community revolution and progress. Those are extensions of the Black Panthers, right? So if the brothers that are in gangs now understood, like the Panthers, those organizations had food pantries and elderly watch situations that made sure older people were good, and lunch programs for kids and stuff like that, right? So if the gangs, the OGs of the gangs right now, instilled positive things in the young people and made those sets positive and showed them how to make money and showed them how to create clothing lines and do investments in the hood, like we do, like a susu, like at a job. Everybody put $100 a week, and that $100 go to a specific family. It's things that gangs could do to turn the complexion and the things that's going on in the hood around to make it something positive. Like, we thinking that the only way we could get money is if we aggressively. Nah, we could get money mentally. And if we put those resources together in cliques, like you could be with the clique of people that you like, but if your whole clique is doing something positive that's feeding everybody in your clique positively, it's going to build a community in a way where it's like we self-sufficient and we don't got to reach outside of each other for other things. You might have to deal with another set or clique for a specific service or product that they got, but it's beneficial. So we exchanging services, and it don't have to be negative and things that gonna cause us to want to hurt each other.
Right, but that's from the perspective of, like, when you were doing that stuff, you did that. Yeah, you were hurt in certain ways, but you did that because that's what you chose to do.
Sophronia said, gangs should keep peace amongst each other and hands-on working with the children. Maybe that could help. It would. That's what I'm talking about, Sophronia. Like it could flip around, because like it's been grossly distorted. Like the dudes in Cali and the dudes that we trying to emulate as gangs, they not doing what we doing in New York. New York is doing it the wrong way. You know what I mean? We following stuff, and New York was the place where it was love. And even in Edgemere, this is another story. Like when we was growing up in Edgemere, the front and the back wasn't against each other. That happened. We ain't even gonna get into that, but like New York ain't like that. We're not supposed to be so apart and so broken. But
yeah, but the thing is like I was about to say, is that you chose to be in a gang. You didn't have to be in a gang.
No, but gang,
right? But there are so many young people now choosing to be in gangs because they don't have mothers and fathers, or they have mothers and fathers who are severely strung out on drugs, who are abusing them physically, so they need protection. So they're not thinking about, let me pull up my brother, when they're seeking to be pulled up. So now, if you are, as you call it, the big homie, if you're the big homie and you tell me to go commit a crime and you're my only source of protection, what am I going to do? I'm going to go commit that crime.
Definitely.
Right?
And but that's an abuse of your big homie status, because I'm a big homie in certain instances too, and I would never send a young man out there to do anything that's going to ruin his life. So if you're a different kind of big homie. If your big homie put a gun in your hand, he ain't your big homie. He don't care nothing about you. I'm gonna put a book in your hand, or a resume in your hand, or something in your hand to make you be good.
Right, but guess what? That's because you're good, though.
Hafiz said gangs used to bring some sense of order and structure in the community. Gangs of now are not the gangs of yesterday. We keep taking on roles others want us to play. That's right, Hafiz. Like, you know too. Like, you know, you come from a line of a certain kind of guy. So you didn't have to become a gang member because the people in your family were solid in a certain kind of way. And that's what it's about. Like, if you're going to be a part of a gang, make sure you're part of a gang that is righteous and that's moving towards building a culture. It's okay. It's okay to be a part of a gang that builds your culture, a righteous gang, though. You know what I mean? Like the guards. Like they up top, the guards is considered by the cops up there, the COs and all that in the state. The guards is a gang, but they righteous though. So any group of 5 or more that's doing something positive is a gang. So if you're going to be considered, to certain people. So if you're going to be a part of a gang, be a part of a positive gang that's doing something positive in your hood.
Well, I hear that, but guess what? There are so many young people today who, like, back in the day, there was a sense of family. Even if you didn't have sense of family in your home, you could go next door to Miss Smith, to her house, and get sense of family. Right? The neighbor or somebody down the block, a stranger, by virtue of her or him being an adult, could tell you, what are you doing outside and you supposed to be in school?
Or you was getting that ass whooped by somebody in
right.
Your family.
That was not
in your family.
That's not happening today.
Yeah.
Like, these young people today, they look to be disrespectful to adults.
Indeed.
They're not respectful to their parents.
Indeed.
So it's a whole different kind of world. So that's why those of us who are adults, we have to take the horse by the rein and say, listen, this is what's right and this is what's not right. And this is what I'm standing by and this is what I'm not tolerating.
Well, I want to say this too. Adults, that when you see kids, like, say, on the train, and I take the train sometimes, and I see a lot of children yelling and screaming and cursing and acting crazy. And you know what I do? I always run down on them. I'm like, your mama know you out here cursing? If your mama heard you cursing like that, you gonna get your ass whipped. And they look at me like, Mr. Why you saying something to me? And I say something to them, but they man down. So I say that to say, like, if you see a kid acting out of context as a kid, you can say something to them as an adult, because that's what we're supposed to do, is each one teach one.
Absolutely.
It takes a village to raise a child. So it's up to us. Don't look at a kid and be like, look at them badass kids. I ain't these badass kids. No. Say something, because that's our obligation as a village. They still our kids. They don't got to be out, you know, your actual kid. You can say something to them, though.
But here's the deal. There was a time when Malik was in high school.
Stop saying his name. You're going to get mad at you. He's 20-something.
Well, listen, he was in high school. And I took him over in the Bronx to play. He was playing with, I forgot the name, the Gauchos. And while they were waiting for the coach to come, these boys, they come up, and you know, as kids do, they cursing and saying all kinds of stuff. And it was so...
They are, Jerome. They are. But he says, Jerome said, but today the kids are very disrespectful to adults. And it's true. But you know what? When you got the supreme intelligence, you got to understand that kid might have been disrespectful because he might have didn't eat today. Or he might don't have no parents. Right. We don't know what their situation may be. So if you feed into whatever it is that they going through, then you just as immature as them intellectually. So you gotta you the adult. So you gotta be like, you know what? I don't know what the hell this kid going through, but he behaving some kind of way. Let me pull him to the side, give him some one-on-one, and see what his problem is. That's just what I do. I ain't saying nobody else got to do that, but that's what I do.
But I think more men have to take responsibility too. And what I was saying was, I'm here sitting as a woman with all of these boys, and there was a grown man who was sitting there, and he not once said, guys, stop. You're in the presence of a lady. Right? I know my brother and my father would have been like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And he would have checked all of them, right? This man never checked any of them. I couldn't take it anymore, and I checked all of them. And one boy, he was like, well, you're not my mother. I said, and you're lucky I'm not, because I take my belt off and commence to whooping that tail. But no, let me finish. So then what I did was, I told him, I said, you know what? Don't worry, I'm going to deal with you. When the coach came, I pulled the coach to the side to tell him what he did. The coach sent him home. Right? Because he had to make a stance and let him know that this is unacceptable. So then the man is going to come over to me and says, oh, sister, what you did was admirable. And I said to him, I said, don't talk to me. You told me about that before. Hey. Because you know what? You're a punk. You're not a man. And too many men are punks nowadays. They have got to begin to take responsibility. And when they see that when kids start to see that men are being more proactive as they used to be in yesteryear, then that's when they're gonna straighten up.
Indeed. Well, I ain't.
Sharnice said people don't get involved anymore. We live in a society of videotaping everything instead of helping. Example, the boy that didn't have to die in the Bronx. People walked by, looked, and did nothing. In our time, you mess with one, Sharnice, you know where we come from, and that did not happen. Terrell Harris said, "True indeed, our men has to step up."
We definitely. I always like to shout out the guys of my era, because the guys that I grew up with, we didn't have fathers, and most of us that I grew up with is out here right now taking care of their children and doing the best that they can. So it's working. You know what I mean? The culture. Don't count us out. We out here working. You know what I mean? And salute to the fathers that are doing the things that you need to do for your children and somebody else's. Because I've been a couple of stepdaddies. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that mother that will pull that kid by the ear and take him home to his mother and talk to the mother and talk to the kid, walk up on the kids in the park. I've done that. People are like, oh, you got to be careful. But yeah, you do it with a certain kind of, as you would say, finesse, right? Yes, and you do it with a certain kind of spirit. You don't go and be degrading to them. You have to know, and you got to feel the spirit. There's sometimes when the spirit will tell you, you got to let this one go.
Indeed. Right, indeed. We're gonna segue that into
Stu said, there you go, D. Men need to step up and be men. We seem to pick the wrong people to look up to. Indeed. Absolutely.
I respect that, Stu. All right, we're gonna segue into the next topic. The next topic is the public crucifying of our black celebrities. Let's talk about how they doing Jussie. They doing the R. Kelly guy. They did Bill Cosby. What's up with what y'all think about how they be crucifying our celebrities? Like we all know, like R. Kelly did what he did 20-something years ago, right? So
does that excuse it?
No, I'm not saying I don't have an opinion on that, because I think it's just too it has too many different dynamics. But what I do feel is, like, why they didn't lock him up 20-something years ago when he first came out? Like, why are they doing that to him now, right? And then the thing with Jussie, right, is
Dr.
crazy.
Blake. Wait, we as adults,
you got Dr. Shango Blake on here, so
also
we definitely live. We got the doctor on there. Go ahead, talk about it.
He said we as adults are also indifferent to our children. We have to set a better example. Our children are not born in a vacuum. They come from us. So what we're seeing is a reflection of us.
Indeed.
Easy to judge them instead of deal with the real issues.
And so the real issues would be is that
parents need to step their game
and
up.
their behaviors is what they learn from us. So ultimately, our kids are a reflection of us. They see. I ain't even gonna lie.
He said he meant with, not what.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. A lot of the stuff that I saw my mother do, I wanted to do, and I couldn't do it because I wasn't grown enough. But as soon as I got grown enough to do it, I did it. Right. So
I saw my parents do some stuff too, and I said I didn't want to do certain things.
Because you grew up in Long Island, I grew up in Far Rockaway.
What you trying to say?
I don't know that.
That we're better decision makers?
I don't know. I'm a daredevil. I'm from Far Rockaway. You were. Yeah.
I'm not saying I was an angel. I'm just saying I just made a conscious decision not to do.
Angel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So
not him showing PDA.
Hey, I do not really do PDAs. I just like this girl. No, we want to talk about black celebrities. Like like what's going on with that? Like, why are they crucifying our black celebrities? Like, anything that they do is
Flo says it starts at home.
That's my cousin Flo. Flo, you need to send some raps on here, Flo. You can rap real good. We want to hear you rap. That's what we want to hear from you. Nah, son can rap. Yeah, like I personally take it to offense what they
said, "Aw."
What they doing to Jussie, right? I saw a meme that was kind of interesting, right? They said that so I don't even know if this guy lied or not. I don't know, because again, like I told y'all earlier, he who controls the media controls common perception, right? So Jussie could be telling the truth, but the media just saying he lying, and everybody gonna believe what the media say, because guess what? That's what they putting out there. So we don't know if he telling the truth or not. I don't know. I wasn't there. So, but what I do know is that the meme that I saw was crazy. It said,
they have him as the lying.
No, they
king.
said Jussie might have lied, right? And nobody got hurt, but and they sending him to jail. But the lady that lied on Emmett Till didn't get no charges, and that man lost his life. That little boy lost his life in a heinous way. So we looking at the imbalance in how the media portrays things.
One of the things I want to say is this, that from a spiritual perspective,
don't believe the media.
No, that's not what I wanted to say.
That's what I want to say. Don't believe the media.
What I wanted to say is, from a spiritual perspective, what we have to understand is this: races of people are not the standard. So, for instance, if you say that Woody Allen, one of the biggest pedophiles ever, right? He's not locked up. He's still free to do whatever he does. One, we don't know how this man lives his life. And I believe that God will not be mocked, and that his word will not return to him void. It will do what he sent it to do. So although he may be free in terms of to do whatever, in spiritually, he's not free. He can't be doing what he's done. That's one. Two, he's not the standard. He's not the standard. God is the standard. So wrong is wrong. Regardless of whether you get blown up because you're black or you get a pass because you're white, wrong is wrong, and everybody will be dealt with. That's just how I feel. So if you've done wrong, R. Kelly, Jussie, Bill Cosby, whoever, then you deserve to pay that price. Some people will get to see the price you pay in the public eye. Some people, we won't get to see the price they pay until later. And some, we won't ever get to see them pay the price at all. But they will pay a price, no matter who you are, how much money you have, what your race is. That's just my take on it.
Hey, and we're gonna close on that note, right? We gonna.
You will reap, Sharni said.
I'm gonna push.
Terrell said, we as parents need to take responsibility with our children and reach out to help out with each other's children. Stu said, what's IMO, Stu? What Bill did or got involved in was wrong. My issue is why him? If you get him, get them all. When it comes to us, it seems like they kill an ant with a sledgehammer.
Tune in next week when we talking about.
Lisa Jenkins, I wish you would have tuned in earlier because we could have got the spiritual take on it.
We tune in next Sunday when we talking about how sororities and fraternities affect our communities, right? So we got deltas, we got AKAs, we got what's a couple of the fraternities and sororities?
Sigma Gamma Rho, Zeta Phi, Z Phi B. Who else? Omega Psi Phi.
And that's
Alphas.
And we want to talk about historical Black universities as well.
Thank you, Dr. Blake.
We have to invest in our historical Black universities to keep this African American thing going on. We got a whole college circuit on our own. We're going to talk about that next week when we tune into
At the Table with I'm Jazz.
And I'm Slinga.
Good night. Have a blessed week.
Peace.
Okay.